Yeah, we don't care about Americans anyway. We do what we like. Yeah, we just do what we like. Yeah, true.
We are in Asia.
Yeah.
So
You know why they don't like? Because the European use it.
yeah,
always when UK
that's quite
and European
possible.
use it,
That's
they
quite
don't.
possible.
You know,
Yes.
it's always the opposite. Just like tomatoes. You know,
And the European people does not like the American.
elevators, lift.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they just don't like. They will not use it. It's the
Okay.
European.
So I may get started, and try to be short. Try to be short. So say, please control me.
It's okay.
Okay, having long in the research of soft car project, then I came up to the new concept of soft mobility last year after meeting the Yukawa-san and other UK people. And this soft mobility management system, I am now changing this part a bit, but this is the slide which I explained last year, one year ago. And I add just one slide at the end of this slide. So I'll tell you what's going on now. Now I belong to the, as you have noticed, Faculty of Policy Informatics, and it is based on the concept of the kind of super field, multidisciplinary and more than multidisciplinary, trying to develop new kind of disciplines. And I myself got the PhD from University of Pennsylvania in 1986. I forgot, 40 years ago. Okay, so I got the idea of soft car, which is not still very much popular, but in 1982, yes, already 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, when I was teaching at the University of Tsukuba. Tsukuba was and is located in the totally car-dependent city. There are a lot of accidents, and in which the students are killed and the residents are killed. And I started the campaign not to let students have alcohol.
So before they go sleep.
What's Q?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Q is a toy of car. Right, and Q car is a toy. And the toy was made into a real one.
Okay.
So they started to sell. Toy maker started to sell Q car. So I combined soft car concept with Q car. Therefore, I call it soft Q car. Yeah, that became very popular.
Okay, sorry about that. From
No, quite
let's get they go back.
Okay, thank you. And so I got the idea to somehow control speed of car according to type of road and type of area. And if you go to the, say, narrow street, car speed doesn't have to be 160 kilometers per hour. Instead, it should be under 15. And if you go to trunkway with side street, it can be 30. And if you go from city A to city B, you may speed up to 60 kilometers per hour. And if you use highway, then up to 100 kilometers per hour. And this is controller. And basically, what I wanted to emphasize is that any car which install these kind of equipment, which controls maximum speed, then we call it soft car. And not only just control speed, I saw that psychologically, if you show the maximum speed by light, LED light, and for 15 kilometers per hour rainbow, 30 kilometers blue, and 60 kilometers for yellow, and the one that gives orange. And if the car, the indicator, external speed indicator, start flickering, it's telling that the car is exceeding maximum limit. Therefore, the driver behavior will be controlled under the kind of the eyes of people. Then here there is the information technology is used. That is, we can identify speed of car utilizing the GPS and the digital map. And if you have the map, which has the maximum speed limit, then we can make all the cars over the world into soft from hard. Then I got the electric vehicle in year 2003, and which was called Q car. I named it soft Q car. The purpose was drastic decrease of the car crashes, less injuries, and meeting need of mobility disabled, yes, young youth and elderlies, and to make city more compact and comfortable urban community space, energy saving and creation of innovative industries. お母さんちょっと高いみたい。はい。Right. Okay. This. We don't have to, but here there are many streets. Although I studied at the American University, I really hate American planning, and so this is kind of China. Okay, let's go next. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the scheme of 100 kilometers per hour and the limit and the light of car. Let's go next, please. Okay, this is the how to control maximum speed. Okay, next. And this is the how to use the external indicator. Changes from rainbow to blue to kind of yellow. Okay, thank you. Bye. And I made experiment. I got the research fund from Japanese government of $1 million US. It's a very huge amount of money from year 2000 to 2003. And this is where my university is located. That's next to Tokyo. And in a small area, we made a test. Okay, let's go. And we put some speed, not speed indicator, but just sign, very much handmade signs, and maybe 40 or 50 signs. And the resident of the area, most of them are shopkeepers, use my speed indicator. And people
You created that software, that indicator?
Yes, we did. I myself is not an engineer, so I of course asked.
Of course.
Okay.
So that software is being put on the car?
No, that's right.
Outside or inside?
Inside, but can be seen from outside.
Oh.
Right? So to keep
Where do you put that thing?
The go up. 前の方にちょっと戻ってもらえますか。もう一つ前。もう一つ前、ごめんなさい。もう一つ前。これだ。Okay, here.
And
This
then
is the
that's
indicator.
Oh, that's the indicator, yeah.
Yeah, this is the rear window, and you can see the light from outside. You understand?
Yeah.
And this is front window, and you can see the light from outside.
From outside.
Right. That is important. And also, you can see the drivers can see the speed indicator from inside. So I really enjoyed it because if you drive the car, and when I push button 15, then color changes into rainbow.
Rainbow, yeah.
And I can sense, especially at night, when I change to 30. Okay, I'm now driving below 30. So this is caution. The equipment to give some caution. And if it starts, flickering, driver himself understand.
Unless it's a traffic jam. Unless it is a traffic jam.
Traffic to escape?
Traffic jam.
わかりますよ。渋滞にするときに。
強制的に
The car very slow.
Ah.
So it will be 15.
No, at this moment, not that this technology is not that advanced. We just, chose.
I know,
this-
if there is a traffic jam.
The speed limit.
That means if there's a traffic jam, I go very slow.
Yeah.
So my car will always be rainbow.
No, not really.
No?
If you are running through the 60 meter per hour street,
Yes.
the light will be yellow.
Yeah.
But it does never flicker. And you understand that I am driving under the limit of 60 kilometers
Yes,
per hour.
understand. But
But
if that particular day there is a
No,
jam,
that I understand.
Yeah.
But we do have speed meter itself inside the car. This
Yeah.
tells you the
Yeah.
speed. And I'll tell you
it doesn't follow that.
I'll tell you later.
So
how
it doesn't
I'm-
follow that. It follows what's outside, is it?
Yeah, right. So the
So it doesn't
to
follow the
walk-
situation.
Of course. So therefore, as you are the expert of information technologies, you may think about better ways. This is very much basic and simple skill. But as you said, you are quite right. If we have traffic jam, we shouldn't go too fast. So even when the legal speed limit is 60 kilometers, probably we had better have this 10 kilometers per hour speed. That is the next step. But this is very much basic stuff. So please understand.
Yes, yes.
And still I'm elementary school. Elementary school.
Yeah, that's
scholar. Okay, let's go. Next. Next.
Road limitation.
Okay, next. Okay, so the shopkeepers really like the idea to show their speed because they did not think they are controlled by people, but they felt that they became very good drivers. I am now following the speed limit. That's a very much psychological interesting. Okay, let's go next. Okay, and this is one of the data which we got from the test. And with speed limiter, I don't know, not speed limiter, but the speed indicator, people started to, go very much, flat speed. And without speed limit, they go up and down. So the average speed became, with indicator, average speed became very short. Small, and variance became so small. You understand? 25 times less. And okay, let's go. And we tested the GPS and the GPS and digital map test. And in this case, we automatically change using the GPS and maximum speed. GPS and digital map. From here to here, speed limit was 15 kilometers per hour, and the car speed was 15 kilometers per hour. Just then, for the area of 30 kilometers per hour. Originally, from the beginning, I thought 39 kilometers can be used. So it went up to 39 kilometers. But between the 30 and 39 kilometers, cars start flickering. So I use kind of technology and psychology both to let drivers keep speed limit. And for the 60 kilometers per hour, there was a turn of the car, so the speed went down. And we did not use the brake to speed down the car. Therefore, the car speed was not so, did not fit to the speed limit. But still, it went very well. Okay, let's go next. And I tested original, first demonstration software was done in Malacca in 2001 because we had Pacific Rim Council of Urban Development in year 2000, and I was the organizer of that council. And then at that time already, we were...
So this project you were working with Yukio?
No, This is the previous project.
I know this previous project. Were you working with universities in Malaysia?
No, at this moment, only the government, state government of Malacca helped us.
Malacca.
So these cars are the state government.
The State Department.
Yeah.
State
And-
Department Malacca.
Especially those bike people, they are also the government people. They really like it.
Also, they had this speed limit.
Yeah. No, there's no speed limit at this moment. But
I mean,
interesting is that I think this is a famous street in the World Heritage Area. But my friend, University of Los Angeles professor, like to have an experiment in this area. And this is very narrow street. But if you go there, I visited last year, and the station somehow changed, I felt. But on this narrow street, car speed was like 60 kilometers, 40 kilometers per hour. So we should keep speed down. And we demonstrated. And anyhow, it was very much successful, I thought. Okay, let's go. So there are many comments from the Chinese scholar and Japanese mother, and also the parliament, city parliament women. Okay, let's go to the next. And now we employ this Q car. This is very cute. And originally the toy maker made a small toy, which is called Q car. And the company president wanted to make it real. So they started to sell this Q car in year 2002. I met the president, and he liked my idea. Let's combine soft car concept and Q car concept. So I developed soft Q car. Let's go next. And I attended ITS World Congress, and first in the Australia, then Chicago, and Nagoya. And I showed it Nagoya in 2004. And in 2005, there was an expo. And my soft Q car was used as a daily parade. And because of the cuteness of the car, the people really liked it. Okay, but let's go next. And but I forgot to tell you. 戻っていただいていいですか? So I visited so many, schools, and schools, children really like
to go in the car.
Yeah. Everybody is lazy. Take seat and very interesting. I really enjoy it. And there are so many publicities by newspapers. But interesting is that these publicities very much local publicities. But eventually it appeared almost all in Japan, and also the NHK Japanese broadcast and other broadcasting companies took some made them news. Okay, let's go to the next. Then in year 2006, when I was thinking of developing a book, writing a book, I thought I have not met people who need soft car, who are the victims of car crashes. Nowadays we do have 5,000, 4,000 people killed on the street. But at that time, already almost 10,000 people were killed. So I started talking with the Japanese victims, and also I started to see the European victims associations, and I visited Brussels and some statement. Okay, let's go next. And I started, after publication of my book of 2009, I started to use this soft Q car to identify what is the appropriate speed for different type of street. And eventually, I'll tell you just one case. In my university city, the legal speed limit was 30 kilometers per hour, but the people preferred 15 kilometers per hour speed limit than 30 kilometers per hour speed because there were school kids walking on the street and with 30 kilometers per hour, the drivers feel safe and as pedestrians also they feel safe. And I did this kind of experiment in Japan and I brought one to Shanghai in 2010 and silver student really liked. And one of the students which attended that experiment in Shanghai is now my student in my university, and he is going to receive the master's degree very soon. Okay. And okay, let's go next. Oh, this is the Shanghai experiment. Let's go next. And I did something different. Okay, let's go next. Then I visited the tsunami area in 2011, and I found so many debris of cars. People used to escape from the disasters. They use cars, and they make traffic jams. And there are so many people. I might say 30% or 40% were killed in car, but there's no statistics, and automakers do not like to tell that. So I wrote my blog. Then the Japanese important newspaper took my view in their articles and so. Okay, so. And interesting is this one. Okay, before that, yes. Sorry, this is still in Japanese, but I found new important data, which tells this is just all the cases. If you keep maximum speed limit, the death rate means number of death crash divided by number of all the crashes. This becomes very small. But if you go beyond, this becomes so high, and I got 10.9%. It's not bad, times higher. Yeah. So we can very simply say that if you keep speed limit, very drastic decrease can be expected. Then this is important for you, and this is I found this application. So I can show you now. And there is a free software which tells the current speed. Okay, as you said, what is important is to know more exactly what is speed of the current speed. And we can set the maximum speed. And when you go beyond the speed limit, this light becomes the red and gives you some warning sign. And we developed our own version, and here they are in Japan, and I will tell you what happened after. Okay, let's go to next. And my idea was taken very important as a former professor and president of Tokyo University. And he has been very powerful, and he said, I can give you some
Tokyo University.
Tokyo University. But there are some competitors who were in the field of autonomous cars in these days. They took money out of us. but still, I do regard this is more important than autonomous cars. Or let's go to the next. And actually, I met the Google person who is developing autonomous cars. And at the ITS International World Congress in Tokyo 3 years ago, and this is a guy from Google, and he said, not all the cars will be autonomous. He admitted. So if we can collaborate, the autonomous cars and my speed limit soft car can collaborate, we can contribute to traffic safety and traffic jam significantly. That's what he said. And let's go to next. Yes, this is a person, important person of the mayor of a city in the disaster area, tsunami. And he liked that idea in 2013. Therefore, I saw that city would become a model city. But unluckily, he was ousted out of the office because he was not elected to the county mayor. But still, I talked with this mayor, former mayor, this morning. Okay, let's go next. Now getting close to the idea of how to use this concept to UKM. And there, excuse me, still a lot of things in English, but this is very much a typical planning concept of Buchanan report, which was developed in 1964. And Yukawa-san was better than me, but this Buchanan report was developed, published in England. And this concept was applied to the development of the Malaysian cities. So if you go to the if you go inside of that car speed should be slow, and people should be able to move around. And this is the kind of trunk way, and then you can speed up. So there has been this kind of concept, and has been a lot of planning experience, and you did so, and I really appreciate what you have done. But still, car speed itself has not been controlled.
Important thing is this hierarchy system in road in urban area is very common in Malaysia, but other countries is not so common, even in a developing country like Japan. This is so-called Japanese road system is a grid system.
Yeah, you agree. We're not. You're like the American system.
Right.
Yeah. So Malaysian system actually more developed than Malaysia, but Malaysian system more developed than Japan, but still there are so many problems.
Yeah, and especially when we think about bikes. Bike has very high rate of crashes and disc crashes. Therefore, number of persons per say 100,000 people is about 5 times more than Japanese case. Okay, so therefore I have been thinking soft car, but I changed the word from soft car to soft mobility, including bikes, bicycles, right? Okay, let's go next. So the idea of soft car,
Soft mobility.
MJ, Malaysia Japan project.
Oh.
MJ's, yes, Malaysia Japan. So we have some research experience, and we are doing something, and then soft car project in Malaysia, and the outcome should be soft mobility in Malaysia. And,
so this one is not done yet.
Not done yet, but we applied to the JICA. That is the Ministry of Education. Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But it was the UKM sent application to the Malaysian government, but Malaysian government declined it because what I think is that the safety was not regarded high, was not given high priority.
Who sent it?
The Dr. Siva?
Project leader is Dr. Shiba in FSSK.
FSSK.
Yeah.
And the Dr. Mazlin, Vice President?
Vice President advised our research group.
From your Lestari.
Yeah.
Last year already he promoted to Vice Chancellor. Yeah, because at first I become a postdoctoral researcher under Professor Mazlin.
You were his postdoctoral at Lestari, isn't it?
So I proposed, I talked about there is a new idea of extending our research. So
And our concept was under the Satraps. Satraps, do you understand? Satraps is the very big, research fund of Japanese government, both under the control of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Education. But somehow we were declined. But our idea developed based on this presentation was to develop the soft mobility zones within the campus and out of campus, in the vicinity of this campus. Okay, let's go next. So to develop soft mobility zone, we need speed control system, ICT, and walking to railway, multimodal traffic, and also, some road design. Wohnraum is the people's space for street, and this is the Holland, Netherlands, and also eco-technology, natural technology. And if we drive cars very slow, we don't have to pave cars in the street by concrete asphalt. You can use natural materials, but very much it will turn this campus very attractive. That I'm sure. Okay, let's go to the next. And this is the picture which we drew 10 years ago. I am rather painter or the cartoon.
You drew this?
Yes, I did it.
10 years ago.
Yes, very nice. And I can even show you some, animation for this. Wow! Thank you. And actually, when I made a presentation of this in 2001 in Sydney, my presentation was given only 80 points out of 100. And my secretary said, why? I asked her, why you took 20s out of 100? She said, I didn't show that, animation well. Okay, let's go to the next.
Very nice.
And this has been the kind of concept. Still, we have this concept. We have to develop in 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, and evaluation criteria, something like this. Okay, let's go to the next.
The simulation, I see.
Okay, simulation, including simulation. And this is what I'm now conducting, and for which you information people may give us a lot of input. That is, okay. This is a smartphone, and I can show you the video. And you can download it. Let's see. This is exactly the same one, speed limiter. Okay.
Same one.
And this I have been thinking, just watching this, drivers watch it. But in last January, we had a very big collision over bus in which 13 university students were killed. But we did not know which route the bus took and how they made a crash. So I thought it might be better to observe or monitor the real time, how cars are driving, where and in which speed. And we do have the drive recorders, but the drive recorders are taken are not real time. After the driving, they check. But if we can develop this system, and we have already developed it, and this maximum speed, maximum speed and current speed and location, and also real view from the driver's seat can be seen not only by the drivers but also through internet by anybody. So actually, I made broadcast of this here in March. And the car was driven in my university down in Tokyo.
But the people here can see.
Yeah. And actually I can do it now, but still I have some difficulties to do so. But I can show some the drive record.
So now, not only the driver can see in front, the other people around the driver also can see what the driver see.
Right, exactly.
Like the center, monitoring center of the company can see
Yeah. So
Not
it
necessarily
depend
broadcast.
on the cases. Depend on the cases. And think about your son or daughter who is a beginner of the driving after just educated from the driving school. What I suggest the driving school is, why don't you driving school teachers observe, monitor the graduate from the schooling drivers for 1 year? We can give you very good suggestions how to drive. And also this morning I met the former mayor of the small city in Augusta area. He said that is very much important. Also, elderly, there are a lot of problems of elderly, old person driving. And I think you also have the old elderly person's crashes. And they don't like to throw away their licenses, even though government.
They want to drive.
They want to drive.
So you mean the elderly drive more faster?
yeah. No. They are not conscious about their speed, and still problem is that they are, very too confident. Because they have been driving 30 years, 40 years.
Yeah.
I never made a crash.
Yes.
Then they are too confident to make crashes. So I have some video, and probably I can show you somewhere. But probably you sensed already. Sorry, I took too long time.
First time for us to
Actually, I will show you.
see the
Thank you.
Just now when you showed us, there is the app that we can download. She wants
Yeah.
Take the name. I think maybe.
So, Prof, that was really very good. So, what do you intend? What do you want to work with us? How do you want to work with us?
Okay, so
What is that?
this is the name of the app. So if you go to the App Store,
Speedometer, download it from App Store.
you should add O, right?
At all.
O after D, speedometer.
Oh.
Speedometer. So what I want to do is to collaborate with Professor Ali and you people. And Professor Ali is now developing collaborative research on the sustainable schools in the rural area. And I joined meeting this morning. I said among sustainability there are a lot of discussions of environment and also the economy, but also probably we can add a safety issue. And if
we I think there's one of the plans in the roadmap for not just the university plus the country as well, is actually smart city, smart village.
Yeah.
And this could be part of even the smart city, could even be part of a smart village, because we're making the city more smart, we're making the roads in the villages more smart, So I think it's definitely a good idea to work on.
But as you made question, our concept is very much simple. But once we started with this level of to use this level of the technologies, then you people who are very much professional in informatics
will develop better system, like as you said, when you have congestions, even though the speed limit might be legally 60 meters per hour, you have to better slow down the speed. And in that way, there will be a lot of different development of the system. So, yeah. But what is important is to have consensus in at least certain region, or say that, okay, in this area, we never make mistakes, errors. And Shima-san said, we should develop this kind of system, that is monitoring system applied to the schooling buses, right? And if we can say that with this monitoring system, school buses will never make crashes. Yeah. Then we can contribute very well. So it depends, already we do have system, but we have to develop very simple application which of monitoring, because monitoring system we need a few different softwares, but we can develop very easily the simple application, and then we can visit many places and say schools and say, why don't you do this? And you may help in that sense also, not only technological side, but also because we are not, we may not be.
These are the things that needs to be put in the MOA. At the moment, the MOA, as I see it, it's not an MOA yet. It's still an MOU, So these are the kind of things. An MOA must have in the schedule the specific things that we're going to do. One of it, of course, projects, but they must be more specific, specific things. We can sit down and do this more specific.
Yeah, today we talk about this experimental 1 year experiment, this like rural area or sub-urban school in Malaysia somewhere. Even at that area, we thought about.
And interesting is that I didn't mention this, but even when we do apply the system in rural area by internet, people can see what is going on in the area from the Kuala Lumpur, KL, right?
He said, for example, they were talking about this sustainable schooling, but now we are considering to bring like Oguri Sensei's ideas, like, because he asked how do the students come to school? They said riding a bike and 2 or 3, even like.
Oh yeah, the little babies would come along.
Just 3, like just
no safety at all.
Primary school. So if they have this concept of like speed limit, what does it mean? Some kind of even the education process itself, and it can be monitored. Maybe it can also contribute to education.
No.
So already we thought about that the story project can be part of this MOA. Specific thing we can do.
Yeah, attachment of students, that's very important,
And also, we apply this internet
the
system
number,
too.
must be roughly how many students can be attached, that kind of thing. So we say attachments, then we can measure again.
So here, we think what he's now incorporating is he needs like visualization. He wants like interactive maps, like even the streets. If they are like this area is over speeding, you can just real time. You can go to that area to make control of the speed, for example. So this visualization and data processing, because we will have like a lot of data.
I'd like to emphasize the importance of Okinawa. Okinawa is an island area, and when we make experiment say in Tokyo or Chiba, there are many cars which comes out of the area. So people do not have some difficulty we have difficulty to tell all the people that we are now doing this experiment. But if you choose an island of say 10,000 people, maybe close the area. all the people, all the cars can install the speed indicators, and eventually we might be able to install speed limiters on all the cars. So the closed area is important. But of course, that's just an experiment, right? And using this as a prototype, we can diffuse that kind of concept and practice to other areas.
Can do a proof of concept as well. POC, yeah?
Yeah, and also the interesting was the Ministry of Transportation people came
Ministry
to
of
listen. Ministry of Transportation. Bureau of Transport.
ジャパタンなんかなんちゃら、ロードトランスポートデパートメント。
They came to listen.
Did you guys see SPAD? SPAD dia apa?
SPAT is equivalent to agency, mainly for public transport and maintenance, road and
Because if you want SPAD, I know him very well, the head.
Oh, you know
Of course I know Syed Hamid Halwa. A good friend of mine. The number one.
Oh, is that so?
So if you want to go and see SPAD,
But for what? What is the thing that we want to go and see for?
because
Oguri 先生、今
Mr.
これからこ
Shima
のようなプロジェクトで
want
なんか
many
考えら
commercial
れるこれからどのプロジェクトがどこのですか申請
we are
する
looking
こ
for
こ
検討がまだね、先に進んでないんですよ。
これから
で、これから一緒にやる。
はい
考えるために来たようなところがありますよ
Public
ね。
transport? Yeah, we can do that. Then
So I may mention this.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
still
please.
these ideas, just because we talked on a distance before we came here, with Yukawa, he came to my university and discussed about this. And we decided, since we'll be here in Okinawa, yesterday we sat and discussed. In principle, we think we can do something together, incorporating his ideas and with big data processing, something like that. But from now, we will think about we will target some fund. Still, we are not sure, but we will consider
それは何
some.
ですかね。
yeah.
これが出ない、
Data,
スクリーンが出ないんです
this is interesting as well.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
これ
Yeah.
をちょっと横に持っていけば
I mean, because now he wants to incorporate ICT with this concept because he believes it will work. So far, he had difficulty in
あ、OK。あ、
convincing.
そうか、そうか、そうか。
So still, we are not sure which we are looking for some projects, some funds, some grants to apply.
And actually, as I
Yeah, we
told
can-
you
we can
already,
also apply and
we applied
we
to
can
the
join.
very much huge, the research fund of SARTLEPS last year, and every year,
What fund is that?
SARTLEPS, S-A-T,
Oh, startups.
SARTLEPS, S-A-T-R-E-P-S. That's the Japanese government fund.
表示できるんです
そうです。ちょっと待ってください。その前に、これ、それが出てきたので、ちょっとお見せして。
I've got SAT.
But the ground was too big, too competitive. So the first primary experiment can be done with, say, not very small amount, but in Japanese yen, 500万、1000万だといくらですか？
5 year 15 million.
No. That is the
Malaysia
surplus.
need.
But
Yeah,
what is
surplus.
needed now is just 1000万
Yeah, about around 500,000. So we are thinking to apply a middle class budget is about 500,000 ringgit per 3 to 5 years. And then our future plan to extend surplus within a few years.
I wanted to show you the speed monitoring system.
Something like this.
Yeah. It is not big amount of money.
This is
And
the name
actually,
of
the president of my
SAT, okay, SAT.
it's $1 million, but
500K.
has been taken for granted for decades by the Democratic Party. It's time for rule by the people, not rule for the special interests. Hillary Clinton-backed policies are responsible for the problems in the inner cities today, and a vote for her is a vote for another generation of poverty, high crime, and lost opportunities.
With only 83 days until the election, Trump is digging in on his combative style in hopes of turning around his slide in the polls.
I am who I am. It's me. You have to be you. If you start pivoting, you're not being honest with people.
So the bottom line here, we could see less of the scripted teleprompter-assisted Donald Trump and more of the combative candidate whose primaries in the. Let's bring in CNN contributor Ryan Lizza, forgive me, Ryan, Washington correspondent for The New Yorker. Thanks so much for being with us once again. What do you make of the shakeup?
Well, I really think that Trump was all of a sudden a disciplined teleprompter candidate holds. And so there are two explanations for why you would push aside Manafort. One, as Ford pointed out, he's mired in the middle of some pretty significant scandals related to his time working for a decade in Ukrainian politics. Those have been on the front page of the newspapers here, on and for weeks, to be honest. And the most recent is a big blockbuster about whether he received cash payments from the pro-Putin party in Ukraine. All right, so you might think Trump sees that and says, all right, this guy is plagued by scandal, I need to push him aside. That's how most normal candidates would respond. Most of the reporting, though, suggests that what he didn't like about Manafort was that Manafort was trying to control him in essence, make him more disciplined, make him a little bit more of a general election candidate. And even those attempts, just from what we've seen publicly, have not exactly been a smashing success. Trump is on his way, if current polls hold, to lose in the biggest loss since the Democratic loss in 1984 when Ronald Reagan had his landslide victory.
So what is the impact likely to be? Can he turn it around?
I don't know. I mean, hiring the guy who runs Breitbart, I mean, for international viewers who don't know what Breitbart is, it is a niche right-wing website that caters to a tiny sliver of American politics, and is successful in doing that because you can make a lot of money by just amping up that tiny segment on the right. But it's a sort of fanboy website for Trump supporters. It's frankly a website that has gotten rather dabbled with some of the worst elements on the fringe right in the last year, has been accused of all sorts of articles with anti-Semitism and racism, to be honest. And you would not hire someone like that unless you were sort of doubling down on your core supporters, on that white, aggrieved, right-wing base that Trump has done very well with. You would not hire someone from Breitbart unless you wanted someone with more expertise in that segment of American politics. As everyone knows, there are no more voters there for Trump. He's got them locked in. The political problem Trump has is he needs to add voters. He needs to expand beyond that core. So I don't really see this as doing that.
At the same time, he's done something again. He stepped on not only his own message, the points his campaign wanted to make to voters this week, he stepped on what would have been a difficult time for Hillary Clinton, because this week we saw the unusual spectacle of the months-long Justice Department investigation into her emails that ended with the Justice Department deciding that there was no point trying to bring charges. Well, the FBI notes are now in Congress's hands.
Yep.
That would ordinarily be something that we would be talking a whole lot more about. What does it mean and what are the implications of it?
You're absolutely right. I mean, this is an explosive story. The fact that the Democratic nominee was investigated by the FBI, that there was some debate within the administration about whether charges should be brought. Eventually, obviously, they weren't. That is a big, explosive story, and it would have played into the hands of any sort of normal, generic Republican nominee who would have tried to race a referendum on Hillary Clinton. And that's the way to win this race if you're a Republican. That's the way to beat Hillary Clinton, is make it about her, make it about these scandals, and sort of prosecute a disciplined case against her. She has very high negatives. She is one of the more unpopular figures to be nominated by either party. Her great advantage is that her opponent is the most popular person, most unpopular person ever to be nominated by a party, and she is doing, without really trying, she is turning this into a referendum strictly on Donald Trump, who continues to dominate the news, and 9 out of 10 times not in a positive way. So you're right, Jonathan, if this were a normal year with a normal Republican candidate, a governor, a senator, I think that this would be a much, much closer race, and the vulnerabilities that Clinton has would be exploited. Trump can't seem to stay on a single line of attack or prosecute a case against her that speaks to voters that are on the fence about Hillary Clinton. Even when he does go after her, it's in a very exaggerated way that doesn't really, he'll say she should be thrown in jail rather than laying out a sort of rational case for what she did wrong on the email scandal.
Even with a new campaign team, that seems to be the issue to watch. Ryan Lizza, thanks so much for this.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Other stories on our radar right now: Libyan troops claiming success in retaking territory from ISIS in the city of Sirte. A military official tells CNN ISIS fighters have been driven out of one of 3 areas they controlled. The officer says Libyan forces are now advancing on ISIS positions in other areas of the city. Russia dismissing any suggestion that flying its bombers out of Iran violates a UN Security Council resolution. The Russian military says those warplanes conducted successful airstrikes against ISIS in Syria for a second day. Washington takes a dim view of Russia operating out of Iran and has voiced its concerns to Moscow.
When it seems so clearly to be against us.
Now, after the killings in New York, we only have anecdotal evidence, and maybe you have more evidence, more information, but is it getting to be more dangerous in this country for Arab Americans?
I certainly think that we're seeing an uptick in hate crimes and harassment against Arab Americans and Muslim Americans. Our civil rights report that we released last year showed an alarming number of harassment incidents and hate incidents that we track very closely here at CAIR Oklahoma. And I definitely think that we've seen kind of that increase in anti-Muslim and anti-Arab harassment and threats.
Now, obviously, the political campaign is raising tensions on a lot of different levels, but when the campaign is over, what's going to happen, do you think? Is this just the new normal for Arab Americans, that they're being treated increasingly like outcasts and often at threat to their own safety?
Well, we would certainly hope not. One of the missions of CAIR Oklahoma, just like other CAIR chapters, is educating non-Muslims on the reality of Muslims in America and kind of dispelling some of those stereotypes and those fears. And we've been very fortunate here to enjoy a great relationship with our interfaith organizations and social justice community partners. So for every hateful tweet we get, for every hate call, all those threats on social media, we get dozens of supportive messages, of friendly comments, of people calling to say, I appreciate what you're doing, and we think that we love our Muslim neighbors, we love our Arab American friends and colleagues. So I think that there's a sense that we really can be working for a positive change.
Wow. Veronica Leisure of CAIR Oklahoma, thanks so much for talking with us.
Absolutely.
You're watching Connect the World. Still to come, we'll meet a Kenyan athlete who learned his Olympic skills, get this, on YouTube. That story ahead.
Asia's cities are growing fast. The challenge, keeping up with the changes and preparing for what's next.
Innovation means adapting to the future.
From the rebirth of an aging overpass in Seoul to boosting the newest Japanese entrepreneurs and a digital replica of the entire city-state of Singapore, CNN shows you how the region is laying the groundwork for a livable future. Innovative Cities, Saturday on CNN.
Tea is very, very important in the part of the Japanese culture because the tea can connect the people. Japanese hospitality looks simple, but the way they create has its own meaning and own thoughts and own detail. That captured my heart.
Culinary Journeys, Thursday on CNN. inside the world of horse racing on CNN's Winning Post.
We're in Germany looking at the resurgence of the Sport of Kings at Berlin's historic Hoppegarten racecourse.
Winning Post on CNN.
She had a natural curiosity that motivated her move from the familiar and called her to see the world. Along the way, she began to tell stories, whether those stories were far from her roots or close at heart, whether they made her smile or tested her strength. Storytelling is what took her there and got her here. Ustream with Christy Lou Stout, weeknights on CNN.
Located on Morocco's Atlantic coast, Essaouira is a port city that is fast becoming one of North Africa's most popular tourist destinations. Otman Sheikh is an interior designer with a passion for food. His business combines his two loves. 15 months ago, he opened a restaurant and filled it with his favorite objects. But running a business is not as simple as that. He says the biggest shock he faced came with the realization that he was in charge of other people.
I'm used to work alone. To work with other people, it was really hard. When I had the Chinese shop, I didn't have people work for me. I'm doing everything. So when you open and you have like 7 or 8 people work for you, it's different. Thanks to the chef. Thanks, team.
He knows that if his restaurant is to succeed, he has to keep his customers happy.
I want them to feel home. They feel like, not in a restaurant, feel like with family. So one thing I always say to customers, they say, I want to treat you like a grandma. And so this is the market, local market, when we get all our stuff, vegetable, meat, fish, and everything. So it's like you go through here, you smell chicken, you go to the other side, you smell fruits and vegetables.
Many restaurants in Essaouira now serve alcohol. That is not a path Ottoman plans to follow, even if it would result in greater profits.
For me, it's like, I'm satisfied for what I made. And it was my decision from the beginning, I don't want to go back for it.
As people enjoy Essaouira's varied charms, it's time for Ottoman to get ready for the evening service. As customers drift in, he can be found front of house and in the kitchen.
In our seasons, actually we do like 2 service, 3 service a night. It's really good. It's like when you have a pleasure, when you have customers, and it's like you have money and you meet people. It's like it's such a good vibe.
The business plan seems to be based on giving people a good time, and it appears to be working. But Ottoman has no plans to rest on his laurels. He has ambitious plans to open a gallery space which will complement the restaurant. It may well be hard work, but he wouldn't have it any other way.
I love it. It's my work, what I want to do since I was a boy, to open a good place and people give compliments about it. Now I'm living the dream, yeah. And it's like this is the beginning. I have so much things I want to do.
There's something special about you, Tony. You have a gift.
I mean, I play for a team that don't even want me. Anybody like me?
I'm gonna get that cover boy hurt. God wants you to be a superstar.
No such thing as a black superstar.
Broncos football is bigger football.
Can we do this? Yes, sir. Let's go do it! We are witnessing a start.
Woodlawn. Tune channel 481 to purchase. All the Olympic Games are here. 12 channels, 24/7. Share in their glory. Rio 2016 Olympic Games on Astro.
World politics, today's issues, and all the breaking news. Wolf, Tuesday through Saturday, only on CNN. Business is always changing. Keep up with CNN Money. Mackie Lake is live in the heart of the world's economic epicenter, New York City, tracking all the action of the stock exchanges and the big business stories from around the world. Get top analysis of market movements and a daily breakdown of financial headlines. CNN Money
You're watching CNN, and this is Connect the World. I'm Jonathan Mann. Welcome back. Now, admit it, you head to YouTube sometimes when you're bored, clicking your way through a seemingly endless stream of silly videos, cats playing the piano. But one Kenyan athlete used the site to help take himself all the way to the Olympic Games. For your parting shots, meet 27-year-old Julius Yego.
My name is Julius Yego. I am a javelin thrower from Kenya, the current world champion. I first discovered javelin through my brother, my older brother. It was not a popular sport, even in Kenya. I took it because I wanted to be a very different person. I wanted to be like the Andreas and the Theros we have in this world. I just go and type Andreas training using the YouTube. For sure, YouTubers play a big role in my success as a javelin thrower. I remember when I didn't have a coach, I really depend on watching YouTube videos. What I basically was watching was how to train as a javelin thrower, but not how to throw, because of course I knew how to throw, but not the basic of javelin training. So when I watched that, it really helped me. I improved a lot. What I love about the javelin, when you throw and then you hit it right, when it's flying in the sky, you feel so nice. You don't feel like it's coming down. It's just go, 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 go. Yeah. What drives me is to be successful in life. I want to be a legend, to leave a legacy.
Julius Yego. You can follow the stories our team is working on all through the day by going to our Facebook page, facebook.com/CNN Connect. You'll find all kinds of things, including a tour of a World War II bunker in London, now being used as an underground farm. Have a look. I'm Jonathan Mann. You've been watching Connect the World. Thanks for joining us.
You've heard the Democrats, Republicans, and Libertarians. Now meet the Green Party. Could Jill Stein and Ajamu Baraka be a fourth alternative for wary voters? Chris Cuomo hosts a live CNN Town Hall tomorrow on CNN.
Mighty Ships, Thursday nights at 9:50 on Discovery Science.
Europe's greatest players have been summoned to lead their teams into battle. Because the biggest party of 2018 is only for winners. The 2018 FIFA World Cup European qualifiers. The road to glory begins here. Watch the games live on Astro Supersport.
I'm Isa Suarez in Greece, and this is CNN. Ahead of the International Days, Donald Trump shakes up his campaign staff. A top North Korean diplomat defects to the south, and police in Rio have questions for 2 American swimmers.
Schneider at the CNN Center. Thanks so much for joining me. And we begin with another campaign shake-up for Donald Trump. Time is running out, just 83 days to go until the election. And as Jessica Schneider now reports, Trump's newly minted leaders face poll numbers and a vow from their candidate to resist calls to change.
Donald Trump shaking up his campaign leadership team again for the second time in 2 months.
People want to criticize Donald Trump.
Senior advisor Kellyanne Conway confirming that she has been promoted to campaign manager, and the executive chairman of Breitbart News, Steve Bannon, is now the campaign's chief executive. The campaign's embattled chairman, Paul Manafort, will stay on despite his relationship with Trump going sour in recent weeks.
The campaign is doing really well. It's never been so well united.
Trump is very plugged in. He's very connected. The campaign's working, contrary to what the media is saying.
Manafort is under investigation by Ukrainian authorities for allegedly receiving millions in illegal payments from the country's former pro-Russian ruling party. This is the second major shakeup for Trump's team. Back in June, he fired Corey Lewandowski weeks before the Republican convention.
He's a good man. We've had great success. He's a friend of mine. But I think it's time now for a different kind of a campaign.
Yeah, I had a nice conversation with Mr. Trump, and I said to him, it's been an honor and a privilege to be part of this.
The news comes as Trump tries to appeal to black voters in Wisconsin, but the audience was mostly white.
I'm asking for the vote of every African American citizen struggling in our country today who wants a different and much better future.
Trump addressing the violent protests in Milwaukee after police shot and killed a black man Saturday.
Those peddling the narrative of cops as a racist force in our society, a narrative supported with a nod by my opponent, shared directly in the responsibility for the unrest in Milwaukee and many other places within our country.
He's placing the blame for inner city unrest squarely on what he calls failed democratic policies.
The African American community has been taken for granted for decades by the Democratic Party. It's time for rule by the people, not rule for the special interests. Hillary Clinton-backed policies are responsible for the problems in the inner cities today. And a vote for her is a vote for another generation of poverty, high crime, and lost opportunities.
With only 83 days until the election, Trump is digging in on his combative style in hopes of turning around his slide in the polls.
I am who I am. It's me. You have to be you. If you start pivoting, you're not being honest with people.
Well, that was Jessica Schneider reporting there. CNN political commentator, Republican consultant Margaret Hoover joins me now from New York. Hey there, Margaret. Thanks for joining us. You're a Republican. What does this shake-up tell you? What does it indicate about the state of this campaign?
Well, I'm a Republican who's worked on a presidential re-election campaign before and on another presidential effort. This kind of a 80 days out, change up everything is a sign of real distress. I mean, look, I am not a Trump supporter. I'm a Republican that believes in a different kind of Republican Party that can reach beyond its base and win national elections, which is not the model that I think we've seen in the Trump campaign. So I'm not the first I'll be certainly objective, but not complimentary of the way Trump has done anything. And shaking up your campaign 80 days out is a sign of dire distress.
Also, what does it mean? What does it indicate about his relationship with the Republican Party and with donors? I mean, this back to basics Trump also, does it seem like a blatant refusal to become the candidate the party wants him to be?
Well, there's just no secret that he doesn't have a good relationship with the Republican Party, the senior elected officials in the Republican Party, or any of the Republican donor establishment. His fundraising has lagged notoriously behind. He doesn't have major fundraisers, bundlers, heavyweights in the Republican Party who are willing to call their friends and allies and network in order to help fund his campaign. And that's hurting all of the down ticket races as well. The United States Senate is up for grabs and likely will go to the Democrats if Trump loses by the kind of margins it's beginning to become clear may materialize. This is a campaign in dire distress. There are jokes sort of in the internet that there's an acknowledgement that the Trump campaign knows they're going to lose and they've moved into the hospice phase, which is where you surround yourself with your friends and family. And Breitbart News News is an organization that is not a news organization, but has been incredibly complimentary and laudatory of Trump throughout his campaign process. They've really sort of been a spokes outlet or spokespeople for Donald Trump. And so to surround himself, I think, with people who are most complimentary of his style is sort of the joke and the criticism from the right now towards Donald Trump.
So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, this veneer of some sort of nicey relationship between the party and their candidate might really be peeled back even more in the coming days. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds, but also let's turn to the voters because they're the ones that count. Does this also mean a complete turn back to his core voters, not the persuadable swing voters? And as you were saying, what does this mean for the Republican Party trying to reach out to minorities?
Well, Trump gave a speech yesterday in Wisconsin, and he talked about the need for the Republican Party to reach out to African Americans, which is, frankly, a message I fully support. I mean, the Republican Party, Donald Trump cannot win this election if he doesn't do better than Mitt Romney did with African American voters, which was less than 10%. You simply have to build a diverse coalition in American politics in order to win. And it doesn't mean he has to win the majority of African American voters, but he needs to make good inroads. 20% would be fantastic, frankly.
Well, at the moment, I mean, I think he has less than 1% support among African American voters.
That's right. And, there are problems. You can't just give a speech to an all-white audience in a part of the country that only has 1% African American voters and then speak obtusely, sort of suggesting, and what he said directly is that African American poverty is because of Hillary Clinton and the policies she supported. You've got to do more than just oblique and sort of obtuse references to your opponent. You have to make a credible case that you're going to be better. Again, it's a step in the right direction. It's only a first step, but there's got to be more than just rhetoric. There's got to be, frankly, the NAACP has invited him to speak, and he hasn't done it. There are many venues and forums that would suggest real authenticity and sincerity behind the rhetoric that frankly, many Republicans would welcome, even if we don't support Donald Trump.
Yeah, we talk about timing. I mean, 3 months to the elections, but early voting is, the next few weeks, and that is also a huge deadline looming. Margaret Hoover, thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate being on.
Well, it is really a big day at the Olympic Games with a lot of action going on, but an investigation is casting a shadow over the competition. Just hours ago, police in Rio trudged into the Olympic Village looking for 2 American swimmers. A judge is investigating and claimed they were robbed at gunpoint. Let's talk about this with Nick Payton-Walsh and Amanda Davis, who are both in Rio. Nick, to you first. So, what's going on here? Are Rio authorities questioning the US swimmers' version of events?
I think they're asking a lot of questions about it, and this is an extraordinary move by a Rio judge to ask for search and seizure warrants for Ryan Lochte and James Fegan, 2 of the 4 swimmers who said they were robbed in the early hours of Sunday morning. Now, they want their passports, which could have potentially meant they couldn't leave the country. Mr. Lochte just actually got an email from his lawyer, is back in the United States, left as planned. He says he cooperated with anybody who asked him any questions after the robbery and would give further assistance if he'd been asked, but he hasn't been asked. The question asked is really being asked now, what happened in the early hours of that morning? Now, the original story from Mr. Lochte was they left the nightclub in the early hours. They were held at gunpoint by men dressed as police, had some valuables taken off them, and then left. But slowly people have begun to ask questions about that because the men admitted themselves, well, we left with our cell phones. That's odd, some Brazilians have thought, because they're often the main target of such armed robberies. And then there's been a CCTV video emerging in the media early this morning, which seems to show them arriving fairly relaxed back at the Olympic Village, still with a lot of high-value items on their person, which you'd think an armed robber would be after. Now we have this extraordinary move from the Rio court, which says it was prompted by inconsistencies in the statements of Mr. Lochte and Mr. Fegan. Now, they both talked to police, as Mr. Lochte's lawyer has confirmed to us, and it appears that the judge's suspicions were aroused by the fact they didn't seem to agree how many of the robbers were armed, whether they were taken by surprise or not. There's a lot of politics involved here because it's been one of the most high-profile robberies, frankly, here at all. So some may argue Brazilian officials are keen to cast doubt on the story because they don't want the idea of people in uniform here not actually being trustworthy, that maybe it's possible to think your existence as an armed policeman and rob somebody. At the same time, too, there are Brazilian doubts about how they managed to escape from this with so many valuables, it seems, on their person. Knowing been suggested at this stage anyone's done anything wrong, but questions still being asked to clarify this version of events, and now it appears Brazilian magistrates taking steps to try and get that kind of evidence. We're hearing from a police spokesperson this isn't something that happens on a routine procedure, it is because of what they think may be missing bits of evidence or information. I should say again though, Mr. Lockheed's lawyer, very clear he's cooperated whenever asked. Robert.
Okay, thanks so much for unpacking all of that. Fascinating. Thanks so much for taking more there in Rio. Let's stick with Rio and the sports though. Amanda Davis, to you. Interestingly also, all eyes today have been on the 800-meter women's heat, and that's not even a final.